You thought it'd be that easy? You thought you could just click play and you'd get to listen to a podcast? No, I don't think so. First, you must answer my riddles 3. First, now, just a heads up, I don't actually know the answers to the riddles. Here's the first riddle. I have eyes, ears, a nose, and a mouth. What am I? So I don't know the answer. I mean, personally, if you ask me, I think it's referring to Abraham Lincoln, but... What has 3 legs in the morning, 2 legs at night, and 1 leg for breakfast? I have no fucking clue, but submit your answers. And lastly, but not least, what's bigger than the sun, smaller than the moon, bigger than your eye, but bigger than a bread box? That one's really tough. Again, they're all hard to me because I don't know the answers to any of them. I would be a terrible troll. You think I have time to come up with ways to trick people? I don't have time to do that. I'm busy suffering the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. It's taking up a lot of time. My ceiling in my apartment caved in, so that actually really did happen. And it was basically sheetrock that came down, so if I had been sitting on the couch, I'd probably have a concussion. And the podcast would sound pretty much the same as it does every week, so you wouldn't be able to tell from this, but the thing is, this is like such an old building that there are like layers to it. It's like the rings of a tree, and above the drop ceiling, there's like an older ceiling that's higher up, so they made the room smaller. And can somebody remind me again why drop ceilings are a thing? Who is it helping? What problem are drop ceilings solving? I mean, it's right there in the name. It's a ceiling that drops, so you can't say you weren't warned. So I don't know what I'm breathing in now, because there was dust all over the place. It's probably just whatever was okay in the 70s. It's 70s dust. So, and everyone who was alive in the 70s turned out fine. It's been a hell of a week. You know that feeling when you get up for work in the morning, you turn your car on, and for the first time the check engine light comes on? Like it just starts the day with, oh, I don't feel so good. And you're like, I just drove you last night, why didn't you tell me then? That's what happened to me on Monday, and I took my car in, and this is actually for real, they're like, we found 8 things totaling $4,000. Would you like to do all these things? It's like, it just got inspected 6 months ago. And then a few days ago, I was in somebody's blind spot and he got into my lane and kind of sideswiped me in a very minor way. He just fucked up the covering on the driver's side mirror. And actually, I went back and I tried to retrieve it because I thought it just popped off. But it was in like 1,000 tiny pieces. And I swear, I really did think at the moment, I was like, I feel like Jackie Kennedy. Like, I was just like trying to put the pieces together. I'm like, it can still work. It'll be fine. And I was like, no, I gotta get insurance involved. Oh, there's 70s dust all over this. God damn it. How do I live here? Dude, I gotta move. I was thinking of moving to a deluxe apartment in the sky and finally getting a piece of the pie. Has anyone looked into that? I should be cashing in on the conflict. I think that's literally the only way left to make money. Here's what would be a really fair outcome, is if Iran agrees to dismantle a nuclear program and not pursue one, only if Israel does the same thing. Why would that not be the starting point? It's like the same treaty they're using to justify attacking Iran, which is the Nuclear Proliferation Treaty, Israel isn't even a member of. So its nukes aren't considered illegal because they didn't sign on to the document that says having nukes is illegal. What an incredible workaround. I wish we could all just not sign documents acknowledging what crimes are. That way we could do whatever we wanted. It has to be like this stupidity, it has to be on purpose. It has to be like some kind of joke. Anyway, these are the opinions of a man with no ceiling, so take them for what they're worth. Next segment. Weather report. It's wet. These Mayflowers better knock it out of the park. They better be better than normal Mayflowers. If I'm not floored by the flowers, I'm gonna tear them out of the ground while screaming. That's a direct threat to Mother Nature. So you better show up, or I'm gonna pull up every single plant that doesn't pass muster. What is pass muster? Like, where does that term originate from? It's like if you mishear someone and they say, oh, this uniform doesn't pass muster. And it's like, why are you asking a unicorn to pass the mustard? What the fuck is wrong with you? This is the military. We don't believe in unicorns. The US Army, the US Navy, their official stance on unicorns is they don't exist anymore. They blew them all up with ballistic missiles because they were too beautiful. You didn't hear about this in the news? So nowadays, if you join the military, you have to renounce unicorns. And then you get to be a gun guy, a little, you know, a little pew-pew man. What do they call them? I think nowadays, they're just kind of doing what terrorists do, which you should probably just call them terrorists if they're just in the country indiscriminately killing people for political and ideological reasons. I would say that actually is literally the definition of what terrorism is. Like, you can't extricate politics from anything. That's why when it's like, I'll leave the politics out of it, it's like, well, define politics. It's a term that, like, in its most general sense, really just refers to inter- and intranational relationships, that's pretty much just everything that happens. So I guess what I'm saying is you can define a lot of acts as terrorism if you stretch the meaning of the word political. They should just call it terror. When they called it the war on terror, that's actually, I mean, it's not really bad branding. Everyone was like, I don't like terror, especially after having just experienced it. And the government was like, I know, right? What if we did a war on that? And you have to eventually kind of come to terms with the fact that you're, let's say, karmically intertwined with the outcome of anything that the government decides to do because it gets direct liquid support from you as a taxpayer. And am I thinking about this because it's tax season? Maybe. Gonna be doing a little bit of a rendering unto Caesar in a few days, if you know what I mean. That guy loves being rendered unto. It's like, save some rendering for the rest of us, you know? I mean, you could not pay them, but I don't know, what do? They garnish your wages, right? Isn't that just another way of saying taxing you? It's like, we're not taxing your income. We're just putting a little garnish on it. Like you'd put in like a nice cocktail. It's like we're just making your paycheck more fancy. Don't ask what we do with it. Don't even think about asking. It's none of your business. We are going to shoot hypersonic missiles at the North Pole. And we're finally going to make Santa pay for giving stuff away for free. You're not supposed to do that. Santa's a terrible capitalist. I've been telling him this, but he doesn't listen. If you don't listen to the podcast, Santa's a recurring character, and he hasn't said it on here, but he sent me in private correspondence. He's admitted to being a Marxist. He's really into Hegel and stuff like that, and all he ever says to me in person is like, ho, ho, ho. And like, what do you want for Christmas, little boy? And I'm like, man, I'm 35. And then he's like, okay, what do you want, big boy? And I'm like, that's worse. That's way worse. Just call me subject. I think they can probably put a lien on your house. I know they can do that. I imagine that would be a very extreme scenario. In a less extreme scenario, a guy just leans on your house. Like a guy just shows up and you step out on your porch, you're like, what the hell are you doing? He's like, I'm from the government, I have to lean on your house till you pay up. So when Reagan said the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help, maybe he was right. I mean, Reagan, you know, not great, really. Kind of the early stages of the particular flavor of decline we're experiencing. But that guy must have created a black hole within his own grave from spinning at an unbelievable velocity. This is the party that he put his name to. They still believe that, you know, the federal government is bad, but they put a cutout for the Gestapo. I know it's stupid to continue thinking in terms of parties as if they exist or matter. We're just kind of over that. Now everyone's kind of on team kill humanity. It's the only cause that could really unite Washington. It's honestly inspiring. Slay. This is like a moment from the West Wing. Speaking of terrorism, I'm about to introduce Slurp on Lipstick. Slurp is a man with doctors looked in his head. They didn't find a brain. They just found a single bubble floating in a pool of water. And we believe that if the bubble ever pops, he will die. Like he's the bubble, you know? It's a really sad situation. I'm trying to raise awareness of it. I'm going to tell you what he's going to do, and I'm going to tell you what you're going to do. You're going to relax. You're going to calm yourself. Try not to go into time check like in an already bad mood because time check will make it worse. But, I mean, look, we have to do time check because the host of time check, he threw a brick through my window and there was a little piece of paper on it. And it was a crudely drawn picture of Jimmy Neutron with huge bazongas. And I don't know what it meant, but it felt threatening to me. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for time check. Thank you everybody, thank you so much. Man, it smells like 70s dust in here. You know, you used to be able to get 70s dust for a really good price if you knew a guy who knew a guy, but nowadays, like, it's so diluted. To address earlier comments, all I have to say is people really don't appreciate my attempts at fan art. And by the way, the bazongas on that particular Jimmy Neutron, I would not call them huge by any means. Jimmy Neutron's frame can't support, you know, anything beyond like a C cup. Clearly I've thought about this because I'm an artist. Things have been bad. It's been a bad week for me too. I was recently out with my homunculus, who I created, and I was in the street and I said, I'll pay for dinner if my wallet lands in a sewer manhole. And then I threw my wallet behind me, not looking, and it went down a sewer manhole. So now it's a sewer currency because the sewer... I don't know if you know about this. There's a sewer mayor in an underground copy of our city, but it's a sewer version, so there's sewer versions of all of us. I met my sewer clone. We smelled pretty much the same. That was strange. I didn't know what that... I don't know if it's a compliment to him or an insult to me. But that's all of my liquid wealth. All my other money is in ice. I just put it all in a big cube and I put it in an industrial-sized freezer. And then one day I'll melt it down and I'll have a bunch of wet money. Maybe I need a personal accountant. Someone who really knows money, you know, front and back. Like they know that there's a guy's face on the front and then there's a big building on the back or whatever. Like, I don't know that stuff. You know, someone who looks at, like, Jim Cramer, and they're like, I can be even more bald than that. The more bald you are, the better an accountant you are. Getting a call now on the timeline. Hello, you're on the timeline with Slurp on Lipstick. What can I do for you?
It's me, Roger.
Are you the Walgreens guy?
Yeah, you know me. You come in every single day buying a big, huge tub
We don't have to get into what I buy there every day. It's fine.
Yeah, got a buddy. His name's Mulch. Really good with money. You should all get you in touch with him.
Isn't he that 3-year-old who was in the news?
Yeah, that's my nephew. And that news story, that was slanted. You gotta hear his side.
Okay, but a lot of what he said and did was in really poor taste.
Well, he's just misunderstood. He's a prodigy.
Really?
He's doing my taxes.
Do your taxes come back all wet with some kind of unknown substance on them?
Well, I could usually identify them.
Look, I'm not even worried about taxes. I work for the Department of Clocks for the US government, and I haven't been getting my paychecks because they've said they had to use that money to buy 20,000 lasers that you can shoot at a guy and make him think he's seeing ghosts. And the little money I had, it's literally gone to shit. Turd people are using it to enrich themselves.
Well, sounds like a problem Mulch could sort out,
Man,
but...
no, Mulch can't figure that. I saw Mulch. I saw him on TV. Why is he so round? He's like a perfect sphere. Is he paying you to do this?
No, I'm doing it because he has a very powerful roll attack that he'll unleash on me if I don't do his bidding.
So you admit he's round?
No, you can do a roll attack if you're not round. Sonic rolls, he's not round.
Dude, the kid sucks. Just put him in the ball return at a bowling alley and forget about him. Move on. Alright, look, do you want to know what time it is?
One time a bald eagle landed on Mulch's arm, and Mulch turned to it and he said, "We meet again in every lifetime, don't we, Hephaestus?"
Anyway, the time is 8:41 p.m.
Oh, that's Mulch's bedtime. You know, he sleeps in a bowl. He fits in it snug.
And you still can't admit this motherfucker is round.
He's angularly challenged, okay?
Alright, thanks a lot, Roger. Folks, I've been Slurp on Lipstick, knowing what time it is, so you don't have to. I wouldn't wish this burden on anybody. Please pay your taxes so that I can get paid as an employee of the US government. I do have an idea to try to stay relevant with the current administration, which is to make a bomb that can just, it only disables clocks. So before you invade, you drop that, and it's really hard to coordinate because all the clocks don't work. And if this idea doesn't make waves, they're gonna put me in the dungeon under the White House ballroom with RFK, and they're gonna let him do crazy experiments on me. They're gonna, like, let him inject, like, hummingbird blood into me or something to see what happens. So I got plenty to keep me busy. I gotta get going. I've been Slurp on Lipstick. Thank you so much. Give it up for good old Slurp on Lipstick on the clock, as always. For Christmas last year, you know what he got me? He got me a 50% off coupon on Yankee Candle, a medium size. I'm like, I'm not a Yankee Candle guy, okay? I'm a Bath and Body Works loyalist. Everyone knows this about me. Bath and Body Works promotes the idea that the human body and a bath get along, whereas Bath and Body Works rival Bath versus Body Works. It gives you tools to protect yourself in the bathtub and to destroy a bathtub if you need to. It's basically promoting the narrative that bathtubs are the enemy of human beings, and they need to be destroyed, sometimes with explosives. Yeah, they sell those. But they say you can only use it on a bathtub. Baths are dangerous. You know, you can slip and fall in one. Okay. You could drown in one. If you're stupid or a baby. I don't care. I gotta get this week over with. It has to just be over. And then different things will happen. I get to roll the dice a few more times to have a better day. But you know what? In order to have a better day, you gotta wake up. Otherwise, the dealer at the center of the universe that rolls the dice, they don't get to do it again for you. Kids, this is why you should never commit suicide. Because what if something else happens? That's how I always have thought of that. I'm like, as bad as everything gets, I don't know if I can ever... I mean, obviously, if my life was different, maybe I would have a different opinion. But it's just hard for me to imagine how bad it could really be where I would feel like I need that. So I guess I'm biased. I guess I'm anti-suicide. I know that's a bold stance, but I know that's not really convincing to anybody who's actually suicidal, so I don't know what you actually really can say in real life. You can just be like, hey, what if there's a cool dog that you see tomorrow? I mean, FOMO is not really a good argument for suicide, because it's like, you're always going to be missing out even if you're alive. There's all kinds of stuff going on around you that you're not taking part in. So should you keep living on the off chance that you'll experience the things that you're so afraid of missing out on? So just roll the dice again. Who cares? But hey, look, I've never committed suicide, so not to toot my own horn, but it's kind of insane that suicide is a crime. It's like, if you commit suicide, we'll put you in corpse prison. Yeah, it smells as bad as it sounds, but that's not going to be a problem for you. If you die, we're going to kill you. It does seem kind of crazy to tell somebody, we're going to keep you involuntarily alive. You're like being drafted into the war that is life. But I also don't want to make it legal, because that just seems morbid, but I don't know. That's not like a logical objection. It just feels creepy. It's like, oh, just step in the suicide tube. And yes, you have to pay up front. Don't try to be tricky and be like, oh, you know what? Can I owe you for this? No, they're not going to fall for that. Who is the guy who called in? I don't even remember. Do we have to bookend him? I can't. Oh, somebody's calling. Hello?
Mulch told me to tell you 3 + 2 = 6.
That's incorrect. 3 + 2 = 5.
Oh no, you're right. Mulch is a fraud.
You're just now figuring this out? He's just manipulating you.
I made him my emergency contact.
And tell him 3 + 2 is 5.
He doesn't take criticism well.
Why? What does he do? Oh, right. He does his roll attack.
No, that's what he does to his enemies. But if people even gently criticize him, he just stands in their garage and refuses to leave. Even if you call the cops, he won't move. The cops cannot physically move him. It's like he's not heavy, but he's dense. They can't lift him.
That's so crazy. I don't care, though.
Do you know what Mulch smells like?
Look, I don't need to know everything about Mulch. Does he have a wiki or something?
Yeah, mulch.wiki.com.
Oh, I didn't really think he did. Look, I gotta go. I gotta finish my podcast.
Mulch says podcasts are for weak, passive men who have no thoughts of their own and have to be told what to think.
Well, you know what, Mulch? You're absolutely correct. Thank you, Roger. Alright, well, I gotta go clean up my place. And if you want to stick around after the podcast ends, you can do that, but there's not going to be any... I'm not going to be talking, it'll be over. So you'd have to, I don't know, listen to a different episode of the podcast for me to continue talking. Think of me as more like a, not really a podcast, but like a Tickle Me Elmo. And if you just keep touching your phone, my voice comes out of it. You can just hear what Tickle Me Elmo has to say whenever you want. He's always available to you. And he's ticklish, like me. My girlfriend showed me this video of a Tickle Me Elmo under high voltage, and it's horrifying. Even just the sound of it. So at this point, he's... Why would that be the noise he makes? Elmo has been through things none of us can even imagine. They get mode Elmo. So yeah, earlier episodes, you can listen to them. Unless you're too afraid, unless you're a chicken shit. Well, that's it for the podcast. I think next week, Alton Brown is going to be here. He's going to make eggs. But he said, I'm not allowed to eat them. And he seemed very adamant that, like, I don't eat anything he makes when he's here. Because, well, and I shouldn't tell you this, but all the food he's making is fake. It's just like special effects and stuff. That guy has no idea how to cook. He actually hates food. He doesn't even like to eat it. He's a total fraud. And he'll be here next week. Okay, I'll see you next week.